Hello everyone, and this is your morning red pill with Understanding MGTOW. I want to say thank you to all the people who have supported and shared their experience and their opinion, and also for those who have donated towards the movie that we are trying to produce. We are getting a lot of donations. I want to thank everyone for that. Just remember to keep giving me your name and email so I can give you drop a line to you down the road for any free DVDs, books that I produce. Just a little bit about my book. It's MGTOWISM versus Feminism. It will be published hopefully within the next few months. My deadline for finishing the book is the end of April, so still got a little ways, but doing pretty good on it. Got a lot of feedback and material. I've done a year's worth of research on it. So I want to thank everyone for helping me in that process too. We've certainly done a great job in kind of rallying together and getting every point of view possible that we can on MGTOWism and feminism, and understanding how they each connect to each other and how the MGTOW movement started to gain momentum. With this segment, I wanted to talk about dating. Not really so much dating, but just some of the pitfalls you got to avoid. And this comes from mostly my personal experiences, but I'll let you guys decide whether I'm right or wrong. And if you feel I'm wrong, please comment. If you feel I'm right, please comment as well. Feedback of both sides are greatly appreciated, because that's how we have a civilized debate. Anyway, I'd say the biggest pitfall is a lot of men fall into the realm, and I was one of these men that fell into the realm of, I think I should pay for the first date. And I know my mother was telling me that you should never pay on the first date because you're both in the same economic situation. So you both should pay equally. Each pay your own half. So with that regard, I think my mom kind of was already understood MGTOWism. I was trying to help me do the same and not get taken advantage of, but this is my experience. Now, in my hometown, there's a 5-star restaurant. It's well known. It's called Rats. It is a very good restaurant. It's French cuisine. It's very good. I mean, if you're going to celebrate a new job, 60th birthday, 40 years of marriage, it's a great place to go. But on a first date, I mean, come on a first date, that's where you want to go. Like, that's a 5-star restaurant. One person is $180 on average. That's if you have 2 glasses of wine and follow a 3-course. I believe it'd be a 5-course meal. That's insane. That's insane for a first date. I don't even know if I'd take you for the first year anniversary of a relationship. Like, maybe first year of marriage, like you've been married for a year, maybe then, just because it's kind of a celebration of hard work of getting there. But not on a first date. You have no interest in me. You only have interest in seeing if I could pay for that meal. And that's just one of many stories. Like, the expectations that are out there for men is so high, it's utterly ridiculous. Now, not saying all women have that expectation, because not all. I can probably go out there and find at least 10% of women that don't care about this stuff, but I would say about 90% of women care. 10% demand it. 10% of women demand it. So I would say about, of the 90%, 10% of them demand it. And that's absurd. Like, you cannot demand to be taken to a 5-star restaurant just because you're a woman. So needless to say, in my blue pill days, I did take the woman there, and part about not making the same mistake is realizing that you made a mistake. And now that I look back on it, I was kind of foolish, because I remember the bill was like $732. Granted, she didn't get the most expensive stuff. I happened to get the most expensive stuff, because even in my mind, I was kind of getting ready to go through MGTOWism, and I realized if I'm going to go to this expensive restaurant, I might as well order some expensive shit for myself. So I did. And I remember it being absolutely delicious, but I remember the date being dry and the woman had no personality. And that, the more I keep thinking about it, the more I realize I wasted it. Well, I could have bought, that money could have gone to a new MacBook. Anyway, so, you know, that's kind of like my experience. It's always going to fancy places. Now, it's kind of weird. I'll have to admit, it's kind of weird to go to a first date to McDonald's. Number one, I don't really like McDonald's. I'm not really a big fast food person, but I do get about McDonald's. But hey, if you can't afford anything but McDonald's, then you go to McDonald's. Why? Because I would not take someone to someplace I cannot afford and expect them to pay for me. But unfortunately, many women will take you to someplace and expect you to pay, even though they have no intention of paying. And hey, some of them, if you end up splitting the bill, may end up taking half, may end up be stuck there washing dishes. So I mean, if they're demanding that you go out to eat and it's anywhere but Denny's or a diner or someplace cheap, and they're willing to split the bill, you know, that's a good place to go. But if they're saying let's go to Outback or let's go to someplace that's you know two people are going to hit pretty high, and places that tend to have expensive plates, I would just say no thank you and walk away from her. Just walk away. And you get this a lot because most men, like myself at the time, and it might be just my personality, but I think most people do this, is when you ask someone out, you always ask, where do you want to go? If you ask your friends out, where does everyone want to go? Hey, I'm hungry. Who's also hungry? Yeah, where do you want to go? With dating women, it's usually guys say, okay, do you want to go out for dinner? Okay, where do you want to go? And they're going to run through the list of the most expensive places. They're going to pick a place they think you can afford. So, and depending on how you dress, you could end up going to a $500 steakhouse. Or they may just say no because they think you're going to take them to McDonald's. So, if their response is, nah, let's just go for a cup of coffee, or hey, how about going to the local diner? You probably found a woman who's going to take advantage of you. Another thing is if they're not willing to drive to the first date, they have no business. You have no business dating her. Because first off, if you have a car, she should have a car. So therefore, you two can get to the same destination. And if she doesn't show up, all you did was waste your gas. Now, it gets a little annoying when you show up to her, when you gotta come pick her up, take her someplace, and then she has a deadline to take you back. No. Go by yourself, and you can leave whenever you want to leave. That way, if you find out that she is a woman who's going to dig into your utility, you can just, okay, we're done, pay the check and leave. You don't have to pay it, driving that awkward ride home and drop her off. I think you should do this for the first, 5 to 10 dates. You should not be picking her up. You should be meeting at places on set times. You should agree on them. That's absurd that you'd have to go to her, waste your gas, and go all the way out of your way to find where she lives and get there in an appropriate time. And then come time, they do all these other tricks. The stigma, women are never on time. Well, now you're on time and now she's wasting your time even more. Just don't do it. Drive to places that way, because if it's 7 o'clock for the date and you show up and it's 15 after, you can just say, well, I've been stood up, and drive away and go do something else. Instead of being with that person and she wants to cut the date off and goes home, now you got that awkward drive to go home. too. I mean, that's just some of the points of dating I have so far. My time's getting a little eaten up here. One thing I want to make sure is tell my fellow MGTOWs and tell Blue Pill men, make sure you know where she works, because if she's demanding that you take her to 5-star restaurants and paying for everything and going on these expensive trips, the odds are she's probably only folding sweaters at JCPenney's for minimum wage. If you're an successful accountant, go find someone who's successful in their own field. She can be a teacher. She can be anything she wants to be. She can be a garbage man, for all I care. Or she could be a garbage collector. What is it called? A sanitation engineer, the politically correct term. Just make sure she has a good career and she has ambition. But if she's folding sweaters and you're pushing carts, then it's acceptable that both of you pay your share. You can't expect someone else who's making minimum wage to pay for 2 people's worth of meals, to pay for a night out, and to continuously pay. And you can't, and if you're folding sweaters, don't you dare think that someone who's worth 6 figures or more is going to come to you and say, hey, I'm going to pay for everything for you. No. Most of the times they're walking away. I think that's what women tend to forget about, is they think, like, just because you're a woman, I deserve a 6-figure man. It's like, well, have you done anything 6 figures worth of value? No, you're still here folding sweaters, and it's been 5 years after you graduated. Like, good Lord, you're not even a manager at the damn store. Anyway, that's my opinion. I will post the second segment about this later. I just kind of want to get a couple things off my chest. But if you feel, if I've left anything out, or if there's a certain topic you want me to cover, feel free to leave comments, feedback, email me, visit my website, understandingmgtow.wix.com/MGTOW movement. And I try to post a blog every day, or at least every couple days. I'm probably going to post one about dating in full so you guys can see it and all my opinions on it, and the feedback from as many people as I can. Also, don't forget, down at the bottom of the page, donate towards the movie, and don't forget to leave your email after you donate and your name, so that I can send you a copy of my book and copies of the DVD. I want to thank you guys for everything. Always leave comments and feedback. It's much appreciated. You guys have a wonderful morning. This has been your morning Red Pill.